Kara Wiesman tees things up. Back to return for San Diego. Some dangerous special teams units on display in this one as well. It's Brittany Lucane and Jennifer Strother back there for the Rebellion. First meeting between these two teams this season. Texas Elite has won all 4 meetings since the turn of the decade. Wiesman's ready. A line drive kick will go high up above, but reeled in by Tarnisha Taylor. Taylor down the right sideline, and that's how things will get started. We'll get our first look at Danny Trainer, the quarterback out of Beaverton, Oregon. She's had a good season so far. When she takes care of the football, her confidence level soars.
1,000%. I think this is a team that wants to rely on the run. They want to maul you up front and get into gap scheme runs, but she's more than capable enough to beat you in the air as well. And this should be an interesting matchup with the very good Texas Elite secondary.
Hey, look at the regular season numbers. They're really comfortable in this system for the Rebellion. When she can take care of the football, those 6 interceptions have been the one bugaboo to her game this season. But she knows how to be a manager with some wide receivers that have really stepped up over the last few weeks. They spread things out to start. It is Wesley as the lone tailback. They want to try it long down the right sideline. It's Taylor fighting for the football, but it falls to the ground. An early challenge down the right sideline falls incomplete. So we take a look at the starting lineup for this San Diego squad. 7-1 on the season underneath the aforementioned head coach Ninji Martin.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was interesting to watch the Rebellion come out and try to go for a haymaker on the start of the game. That's something different, definitely unexpected for them. Unfortunately, it failed, and now you're behind the chains.
There's a look at that offensive line. New look offensive line that has kind of mixed and matched as the season has gone on. But Martin has settled in on this unit over the last few weeks. Handoff on the motion, rolling left, outside of the tackles, and then upended is Ingargiola, the running back out of Colorado Springs. Here's a look at the Texas Elite Spartans defense, and they boast some of the best players on the defensive side in the WNFC.
Absolutely, they're really good at each position on defense. There's not a weakness out there for them, and they can go too deep as well. I mean, they have people coming off the bench who could probably start for other teams, but they're a solid unit. They've been very stingy all season this year.
Yeah, number 1 defense statistically, only 5 points allowed per game. And the league-leading pass rush really boasted by Whitney Palmer, Winesha Thomas, 2 of the best edge rushers in women's tackle football. Motion up front.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It looked like San Diego just lost sight of the play clock there as it winds all the way down to zeros.
Yeah, and that's one of the bad things about, taking a shot. Obviously, that's nice to do on the first play of the game, and now you find yourself behind the chains and you're a team that wants to run the football.
Yeah, have not seen a touch yet for Kez Wesley. And Gargiola got the 1 touch already. She's been tremendous throughout the year. Picked up some positive yards, but then it's erased immediately with the penalty marker. Trainer rolling right, throws on the run, has Gargiola over the middle. It's incomplete. Big hit over the top. Good coverage by Texas. That's Jamie Locke, who has been locked down in the Texas Elite secondary.
Yeah, she's a small package, but obviously packs a big boom there. She delivers the big blow just to let her know we're here. That's how we're going to set the tone for today. I thought she did a great job covering that into the flats.
Yeah, Trainer with a decent throw, a little bit high above Gargiola, who had 5 receptions in the regular season. They will have to wait for their first opportunity to score in this one. 4th down and 13, punting unit on. And this is not unexpected. These are 2 of the best defenses in the WNFC. And the play clock winds down again.
Delay a game.
And this is one of those moments where, entering a championship game as a team that hasn't been here, can you survive, these first few minutes, this first quarter, and not get yourself in bad positions to start the game?
Yeah, a couple big-time mistakes as you hear the call there, delay of game on the special teams unit. Low snap, put on the turf initially. It is away, but it's received in open field. Jamie Locke turns on the Jets inside the 15, breaks a tackle inside the 5, and she'll take it all the way into the end zone. Jamie Locke with a heads-up play puts Texas Elite on the board first.
Wow. I mean, comes up with the big play on third down, and now makes a random catch. I don't even think she was supposed to be in that spot, was able to catch the ball and take it to the house. I mean, this game is going to be determined by big plays and special teams, and Texas gets on the board first.
Like you said, not the designated returner. Crystal Daniels was all the way back at the Rebellion 45-yard line, even further than that. That was actually the Texas Elite 45, but then Locke picks it up. Said, if there's green grass, I'm going to take advantage, and she does just that into pay dirt. And now she'll turn around. She's the holder as well as Wiesman lines up for the point after. And it goes right down the middle. 7-0, Texas Elite. Now, it was not a throwing scenario, so it's a special teams touchdown. Still counts for the traditional 6 points. But in this league, the WNFC, there is such thing as a pick 9. Of course, in title with the 9 Cup and then Title 9 as well. An ode to women's sports in general.
Score as well for 9 points, and San Diego has done a great job this season creating those scoring 9 situations. So I look forward to seeing if it comes into play today for us.
Here's a look at the Spartans support staff on the sideline. Texas Elite based here in Dallas. They play their home matchups at the Maverick Stadium on campus at the University of Texas in Arlington. And of course, you like to see the youth in the building as well. A new generation of football fans taking in the 9 Cup. That's what it's all about, and that's what Odessa Jenkins, the league founder and CEO of the WNFC, also the head coach of Texas Elite, has aimed to build over these last few years.
Absolutely. OJ has done a great job getting girls and women into football, and now with the emergence of flag football, I think the WNFC is at the forefront now to bring football to everybody. It's truly a sport for everybody, and it's lovely to see these girls and women getting involved.
And don't get it twisted, these ladies can play. This is high-level professional tackle football. And they are on the brightest stage. Second straight year that the WNFC title game, the 9 Cup, has been broadcasted live on ESPN2. Glad you're with us. Texas Elite on the board early with the punt return touchdown by Jamie Locke. A line drive kick reeled in by Lucane. Lucane with some speed and a blocker out in front. She spins off a tackle past the 40-yard line. Best starting field position in the early portions of this one for San Diego. And the Rebellion looking to answer with their run game as well.
Yeah, they use Lucane all over the field. You're going to see her be a star on defense, but there she's returned the football. I think this is a situation where you put your best players in position to be successful, whatever's best for the team.
On the first drive, no touches for Wesley at the running back spot. She was our highlighted player. Do you think this is an opportunity to get her involved?
1,000%. I would love to see her get a touch here on first down.
She is in the formation, and there it is. Wesley off the right tackle, bounces outside to the 45, past midfield, and a little extra physicality there at the end. She is a powerful runner, but when she picks up speed too, she can really get going.
Absolutely. I mean, as a running back coach, I would love to see her hit that first read in the A-gap, but she bounced it outside and used her speed and was able to pick up, 7 or 8 on first down. And now they're back in formation, being second and short.
Remember, the regular season for these teams was just 6 games long, and then they have the 2 games on championship weekend to decide who will represent the Eastern and Western conferences in the 9 Cup. As Trainer looks back, there's another one in Gargiola. First down yardage to the 45-yard line, sandwiched in between a pair of Spartan defenders. But the 6 games in the regular season, Wesley had nearly 500 yards. That's consistent production to go along with 8 touchdowns as well.
Yeah, she's been very productive up front, and the O-line does a great job for her. She's done a good job running physical behind her pads and picking up a lot of extra yards after contact as well.
Keeping Gargiola in the formation with Wesley back in the eye. Trainer turns, gives to Wesley. Wesley, good blocking up front, picking up positive yardage. Gain of 3 on first down.
And that's the gap scheme we talked about. You know, you're going to see San Diego pull quite a bit. They may pull 2 or 3 people at the same time, and she does a great job there being patient and following her blockers and really reading that gap scheme, A gap out. She did a great job there.
This is an offensive line for San Diego that has gotten better and better as the year has gone on. Tanya Luna has been a leader for this Rebellion squad since the inception of the ball club. High snap, Trainer throws, and Gargiola reels it in with one hand. How did she hold on to that football and its first down yardage for the Rebellion?
Yeah, fantastic catch there. I think they found a little chink in the armor right now with Dallas's defense. There's no one in the flats. This is the second time they've now ran that play, and she's been able to make a catch for positive yardage now 2 times in a row.
The snag from Gargiola resets the chains for San Diego into enemy territory. Trainer to Wesley. Can't get around the second level of the Spartans' defense.
Still a positive game. You know, I think for San Diego, you just want to stay on schedule. You know, that's something that they failed to do in their first possession. Now they're doing a great job picking up positive yards on each play. And, you know, she's a back that she can carry the load, so she can take multiple carries. And, you know, they're doing a great job finding openings in the defense as well. And this is going to be a battle in the trenches. This is where this game is going to be won.
And at least through the first couple of drives, the offensive line for San Diego has done a really nice job of winning that initial push, of gaining some extra positive running room. There's a toss to Wesley Wright. She breaks back left, runs into a wall. Back to the original line of scrimmage for no gain. Let's check in with Maria down on the sideline.
Well, Kyle, you both have talked a lot about Kez Wesley on this drive, and Ninji Martin spoke so highly of her and her development this season. He said a big reason why is that Wesley is trusting the offensive line and that they're putting her in the position to be successful. It's also all the reps that she's put in that's made her so good this season. Both of those things coming into play early on.
That's been something that they've worked on over these last few years with her in San Diego, a Dallas native trying to show out. They get her open in the flat, but nowhere to go. Multiple defenders in the vicinity. Taken down by Whitney Palmer, the defensive end who worked all the way outside the hash marks to make the tackle.
Yeah, Whitney Palmer, one of the standout players on this Texas Elite defense. She's able to cover sideline to sideline. And she did a great job there getting out to the flats and really stopping that play before it got started.
Palmer listed as a defensive end, but she's just a defender. She can be used in a number of different ways. Now this is interesting. This is a weapon for San Diego. Jocelyn Charette, a Seattle native, known as the best kicker in the league, can make it from 40-plus yards. It's a bit short here, and back to return it is Texas Elite. That's Daniels. Daniels slips a tackle, 30. 35, 40, finally caught and pushed out of bounds. Hotbed for softball talent. We are in Frisco, Texas, a hotbed for football talent at all levels. This one's complete to the outside. First time we're seeing the Texas Elite offense after the special team score early. Michelle Angel at quarterback, the second-year player out of Laguna Hills, California. Second year as a starter, I should say. She assembled one of the best runs in WNFC history, winning the 9 Cup last year, and she's been a big part of that throughout the year. Second down and change after the completion to Maria Jackson on the outside. And another positive game to set up third down and manageable. Let's check in with Maria.
Well, one thing that has been so much fun to watch during all the San Diego Rebellion huddles, guys, has been Ninji Martin. We talked about her being a player coach, and that's exactly what she's doing. She has been so vocal in every single huddle, and then that she can get back out there and play defense has been so impressive. And Jennifer, I know you've seen this a lot, but how important does that become that you have somebody who can both coach and play at the same time?
It's super valuable. She's seen it from all directions, and you know she does a great job at leading this defense, and she's done a great job leading the team as well.
Not just a coach on the field, but the coach on the field, as this one's Complete to the left, just inside the hash mark. That's Kara Wiesman, who doubles as the kicker for Texas Elite, picking up first down yardage.
And that's one good thing about the Texas Elite offense. They have multiple receivers who can hurt you. Obviously, you have Maria Jackson, who's one of the all-time greats to do this. But all of their receivers have the capability to make plays down the field. And, she was able to pick up a slant route there and pick up an easy first down.
Yeah, we've already seen multiple receptions by Jackson. Now Wiesman gets in the fold. Amanda Heilman, got Summer McNeil, all in the fold for Texas Elite. Hand off. There's the speed of Tara Thomas. It does not take her much to get rolling and to full speed downhill.
Yeah, she has a great burst. And I think one thing about her, she runs so decisively. She knows where she wants to go. She reads her initial blocks and she hits it. And she's not afraid to finish runs, with her pads down, leading with her Riddell.
9 rushing scores in the regular season, 1 receiving touchdown. And then 3 touchdowns so far through the playoff stint. 2nd down and 5. Again, Angel at quarterback. One of the leaders, despite being one of the younger players on the roster. Left side, there's Wiesman with the reception. Pickup of about 2, and she's slung to the ground quickly by San Diego, bringing up another 3rd down.
And one thing about this Texas Elite Spartans offense, one thing they've done is they're keeping the Rebellion defense off balance. Obviously we talked about Tara Thomas, but they've taken this ball to the air several times now on 1st and 2nd down, now setting up a 3rd and short.
Angel was a superstar last season, but has really taken a step forward in this offense. It's been extremely efficient, completing over 50% of her passes. See the touchdown to interception ratio, 13-3. Spin move by Thomas, breaks to the outside. There is a penalty marker down. Thomas out of bounds after 1st down yardage. As we await the call. Get a look at the elusiveness of Thomas there.
Illegal block in the back. Number 23 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 3rd down.
And that'll bring it back after McNeil's called for the block in the back.
Yeah, I think you saw a little bit there what Tara Thomas can do. 2 unblocked defenders, and she made them look silly and was able to run around them for one of the most exciting 3-yard runs you've probably seen in a long time.
Here's a look at the starting lineup for Texas Elite. We've mentioned Thomas and Jackson, Wiesman. Don't forget about Singleton as well, the tight end. Mostly used in blocking formations, but she can get out and be a pass catcher when need be. And then you could argue this is the best offensive line in the WNFC. 3rd down and long. Angel back to throw. Winds up, tosses downfield. What an adjustment back to the football. Caught for the 1st down as the Spartans are in the red zone.
And that was interesting there on the third down situation. San Diego went cover 0. And this forces, obviously, receivers to make plays in one-on-one situations, something that Washington tried to do to Dallas earlier in the semifinal game, and they were able to complete more passes down the field as they did right there. And she wasn't open, but she was able to be thrown open and make a great catch there for a 1st down.
Amanda Heilman, who Coach Odessa Jenkins mentioned to us in our talent call earlier in the week. We talked about the receivers and McNeil, Jackson, Wiesman, just as we just did. And she said, please keep sleeping on Amanda Heilman. And that's exactly why. Thomas now looking to make them pay outside the numbers and stacked up after a good gain on 1st down, picking up 8. This is the first time we've seen the San Diego Rebellion defense as well. The number 2 defense in the WNFC behind Texas Elite. And though they do have multiple playmakers throughout their depth chart, Texas Elite has been moving down the field at ease on this drive. Out of the pistol now. Angel turns, hands, Tara Thomas, 1st down yardage. Down inside the 5, setting up 1st and goal.
And that's one of the things I talked about with Thomas there. Initial contact happened about 2 yards down the field. She was able to spin and make it into a 4-yard gain. Those things are truly special for backs who can fall forward at contact to pick up extra yardage.
was a part of this Texas Elite squad up until the 2024 season. Took a season away from Texas Elite. Had a bit of a clash in terms of contract negotiations. And then after the one season said, you know what, it's going to benefit both of us if we work this thing out. They certainly did. And she has been a star throughout the year for the Spartans. They go right back to her. Thomas underneath. Good tackle. As Martin comes flying through the line of scrimmage. May have caught a piece of Thomas.
Yeah, obviously we talked about Martin has played a lot of football, and she diagnosed that play and really shot the gap and trusted her technique and was able to hopefully prevent a touchdown there because Thomas was already picking up a load of speed, and she was able to fall into the end zone there.
They credit the tackle to Katie Claxton. Claxton, one of the former league MVPs on defense. And that second level of the Rebellion has been fantastic throughout the year. Can they come up with a big stop? Second down and goal. Angel wants to throw it. Right side, nearly intercepted. Leo got a hand on it. The Montreal native had a chance for a game-changing turnover in the red zone.
And that's one of those plays I feel like you have to make in a game like this. You can't let those tip balls and overthrows get by. You have to make a play here. That could have changed the game and changed the momentum now for San Diego if she was able to come up with that play.
Harmon Christina Leo. He's had 3 interceptions on the year. No stranger to forcing takeaways. Third down and goal. Back to the pistol formation. Turn, toss, it's Thomas with a lead blocker out in front. Can she catch the edge? Still diving. No, she cannot. There's Leo again. Had the pass break up one play ago. Makes the tackle here to bring up 4th and goal.
Yeah, that was a fantastic job running down Thomas on the outside edge. Thomas beats a lot of people to the edge, and, she was able to run her down and make a really big play now to bring up 4th down for the Texas Elite Spartans.
It is not easy to chase down Tara Thomas. And that is exactly what Harmon Christina Leo just did. Offense stays on the field for the moment. There were some substitutions back and forth for Texas Elite. Play clock under 10, and Odessa Jenkins will call a timeout.
First charge timeout, Texas.
And they'll talk things over as Michelle Angel and company head.
Even though he's still in college, college athletes are essentially pros, and I thought he did a great job for BYU this year.
The Wizards making the pick after winning the NBA draft lottery. Hometown team, the Dallas Mavericks, will pick 9th in the NBA draft after winning the lottery last year to secure Cooper Flagg, who won Rookie of the Year in the NBA. Offense back on the field. 4th down and goal for Texas Elite and the Spartans, trying to make it a 2-score lead. Angel out of the shotgun. Turns, hands to it, and there is nowhere to go. Sabrina Kessler broke through the line of scrimmage. A tackle for loss and a turnover on downs.
Fantastic play. Way to step up. When your time is called. Special players make special plays in special moments, and that's what she did right there, preventing points for Texas Elite and going up 2 scores. So fantastic effort by her to stop that play on 4th down.
Had just 10 tackles in the regular season. 3 of those were tackles for loss, and comes up with a massive TFL to secure a goal line stand for the Rebellion as they get the football back. Their first stop of the day, and that was a long drive by Texas Elite that comes up with 0 points. That's tough on a team to start your opening possession, though they do lead at 7-0 still.
Absolutely. You want to try to get points out of a drive like that, and it's unfortunate they were stopped there on 4th down and came up with no points on that long drive.
Amani El Amin, San Diego hometown product. In her second season with the Rebellion, taken down after no game. Actually, loss of about 2 as they started at the 5. 2nd and 12 now. Final play of the opening frame. San Diego backed up against their own end zone. Trainer looks to her left, forced some pressure. Ball falls incomplete. That was dangerous for a moment. She holds on for a couple more seconds there. could have been trouble, and she took a hit anyways.
Absolutely. They sent pressure off the edge. I don't think she saw it from her blind side, and they almost made a game-changing play there.
Foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 9, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
I don't know about that.
I
thought it was a clean shot, and, this is speaking from a quarterback. I thought they had a step, and I think that's a good, clean hit on the quarterback.
So it's one of the things in the rule book that you got to keep an eye on. Of course, they want to protect quarterbacks at all costs. It's the way that Deanna Guidry there landed. The body weight on top of the quarterback, I think, was the game changer. Timing-wise, I agree with you. I thought it was a clean play. But you got to be careful on landing on a quarterback and see how Trainer responds now with a bit of breathing room. We go back to the ground with Elamine, and she takes a hit over the middle. Big time tackle by Amber Kimbrough, and that brings an emphatic end to the first quarter. It's of the Women's National Football Conference alongside Jennifer King with Maria Tribalpiece down on the sideline. I'm Kyle Yeomans. 7-0 Texas Elite. San Diego on offense. Handoff to Elamine, bouncing outside, nowhere to go. It's Palmer again. We are going to hear Whitney Palmer's name emphatically throughout the afternoon, and we've already seen it a couple times.
Absolutely. I mean, as we talked about earlier, their two ends are game wreckers. They can give you a headache if you're a coach, especially with these gap scheme runs that San Diego likes to run. If you have a D end that's creating a problem, it's going to be hard for them to do that. They're going to have to keep that ball inside in the A gap and B gap.
Yeah, nobody sets the edge in the WNFC better than Whitney Palmer, and then Winicia Thomas on the opposite side for Texas Elite. Third down and long. This drive started in the shadow of the own end zone for San Diego. Trainer loading up, has a receiver, underthrows, nearly intercepted again as Texas Elite got a hand on it and breaks up the pass. It's Grace Wiley who had the best chance at a pick.
Yeah, one thing we want to see here is where's Kez Wiley? Where's Kez Wesley? She hasn't been on the field yet for the last 2 possessions, so I hope everything's okay with her because obviously we want to see her play in this game. She didn't get a touch on that possession at all. She wasn't even on the field.
Yeah, Wesley also did not have a touch on the first offensive possession for San Diego. Remember, this is where Texas Elite scored the first time around on a punting situation. This one also on the turf, nearly blocked again, but it gets away. All the way back for Daniels, who reels it in just inside the 50-yard line. Wants to switch fields. Daniels, dangerous on the return, catches a block at the 30. Penalty marker is out. Daniels steps out of bounds either way, and it's probably coming back.
Yeah, that was a great return. I think both of these teams have dangerous returners, as we saw right there. Obviously, it's going to be coming back more than likely with an illegal block, but that was a great effort for her to be able to turn that corner and almost score.
So we await the call.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 31 of the return team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Texas.
It's the second time in as many possessions, one on offense and then one on special teams now, where Texas Elite has been flagged for a personal foul. This one's a big one because it completely shifts the starting field position.
1,000%. I mean, most great teams want to limit their self-inflicted negatives, and that's something that they have to do, obviously, if they want to be victorious today. So you can't negate big plays with undisciplined play. And that's a block that you know that you can't do. We haven't been able to do that in years in football. She just couldn't help herself, I think, when she saw her running towards it.
It looked nice on the film, and that's one of the things that you'll go back and look at, but you can't have the blindside element as Texas takes over right where the punt was reeled in at the Rebellion 46-yard line. This one off the hands and incomplete. Weisman, the intended target. Texas Elite won the 9 Cup last year over Washington. A really good game over the Prodigy, 21-19. The Prodigy down by multiple scores late, worked their way back into it with some big plays in the second half. The Texas Elite held on to win it. They defeated the Prodigy in the Eastern Conference Finals this year. Texas Elite used to play in the Western Conference. Made the switch to the Eastern this year. Outside, complete to Maria Jackson. Tried to throw a stiff arm. Good tackle by Leo. That has been a battle. The top of our screen there all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. Maria Jackson, she's one of the best players to ever do it at the receiver position in women's football. And Texas Elite's going to look to get her the ball as much as possible. That's one thing OJ talked about when we met with her, was getting her best players the ball, in position to make plays. And that's something they do a great job with Jackson. Maria
Jackson, one of the more decorated receivers in WNFC history. Also a dangerous red zone weapon. 8 touchdowns on the year. High snap on 3rd down and 7. Looking left. Angel was hit as she threw it, diving underneath, and making the grab is San Diego. It's officially an interception. The first takeaway of the day belongs to Christina Jordan in the Rebellion.
Jordan did a great job there just making the play. I think, that's one of those plays you would love to see if you could get 9 of, if you could keep your feet. But at this point in the game, that's a great shift of momentum now for San Diego to get the ball back and hopefully can put a drive together now to get some points.
You can see the way that the ball left the hands of Angel, who only threw 3 interceptions all year long. That does not happen a lot. But the pressure from the front 7 was what caused the ill-advised throw. And Jordan with the adjustment, like you said, she keeps her feet. That might be 9 on the board and an immediate lead for San Diego. But instead, she does secure possession. And now San Diego has a chance to try and get this offense rolling. They've moved the ball a couple of times, but still haven't put points on the board. 4 receivers out wide for Trainer in the shotgun. Throwing to the left, and Gargiola, who's been busy so far, makes the catch out to the 35-yard line. Let's check in with Maria Tribalpiece on the sideline.
Well, San Diego has a special team motto. That's no BCD. It stands for no blaming, complaining, or defending. So if you make a mistake, you can't do any one of those things. You can only take accountability. And I've seen it in action all game, guys. Even when there were mistakes made on the field, the Rebellion comes in, claps each other's hands, and then gets back out there to be better. You see that's why they're still staying in this game despite being down 7-0.
Yeah, this will be a battle throughout, Maria. Appreciate you as always. And when you look at the way that the physicality has played at Impact so far, the early turnover, the first drive from Texas Elite going all the way down inside the 5-yard line but unable to score. The Rebellion are only down by 7 because of the physicality and that type of effort.
1,000%. They were able to survive the first quarter, as I talked about. The moment wasn't too big for them. One mistake, but they're still very much into this ball game now with the ball.
3rd down and manageable. Throw off balance over the middle. Nobody home. Zapia was the intended target, but she was already well past where Trainer was trying to deliver.
Yeah, they went quick game. They went quick game there on 3rd and short, and when no one's open initially on quick game, it has to turn into a scramble situation. So the quarterback has to be able to roll out and find receivers and turn into a scramble drill. No one was able to do that, and she had to throw the ball away.
So even with the turnover on downs in the red zone, an interception on the opening drive of the second quarter, the Rebellion still haven't found any sort of offensive push without the help of a couple penalties from Texas Elite. As the punt is up in the air, craters in at about the 43-yard line. Nobody able to return. Odessa Jenkins, the backwards white hat, looking on from the sideline. CEO of the league and the head coach of Texas Elite. Here's Thomas, first play from scrimmage on this drive. Picks up about 4. You've gotten to know Odessa over the years. How impactful has she been, not only to the WNFC, but to women's tackle football in general?
I think it's been huge when you look at everything that she has built with the WNFC, the sponsorships, most importantly, Adidas, Riddell, Dove, coming on board because they believe in the product that, she's helped build. And obviously these women are putting on a great product today.
There's a look at the opposing head coach, Ninji Martin, who also plays linebacker for the Rebellion. 2 impactful women doing incredible things for the sport of football in each of their respective markets. Angel loads up, throws again, right sideline, and caught. keeping a foot in bounds is Maria Jackson. That's what she's a specialist at.
1,000%. If you throw the ball her way, there's a good chance it's going to be caught. She did a great job there. Great anticipatory throw as well, too. Throwing that football before she came out of the break, and she was able to catch that ball for another Spartans first down.
Jackson, by far the most targeted receiver on this Spartans roster in the first half. Multiple receptions already in the game. Thomas with some running room outside the hash marks. Tara Thomas, stutter step, gets around a defender inside the 20-yard line and finally pushed out of bounds. There's the extra gear Tara Thomas brings to the table.
Absolutely. It doesn't take much for her to pick up extra yards. You see once she gets to the edge, that's when that track speed comes into play there. Would love to see the receiver pick up a better block down the field, which could have turned that into a touchdown. But Thomas did a great job exploding into the open field and making people miss.
I love that. That was said like a real quarterback. You'd love to see the receiver hold the block so that way you can get around it a little bit more as a ball carrier.
First charge timeout, San Diego.
And now San Diego wants to talk things over. Timeout called from the Rebellion sideline. Texas Elite is charging again. They lead at 7-0. 9.5 to play in the first half of the IX Cup. We're in the second quarter of the IX Cup. Let's take a look at the first quarter. Opening score of the game came on special teams. A punt return touchdown for Jamie Locke, who was actually the up back. She was not the returner, but able to break a tackle on a
drop the ball. But it's a tough catch, but you want to make that in these situations because you're battling right now. And this defense is kind of on the ropes. They've stood tall the whole game, but once again now their backs are starting to get against the wall. The Texas Elite driving down the field.
2nd and 10 following the incompletion. Michelle Angel turns and gives. First carry that we've seen for the depth running back for Texas Elite, Kelly Smith, who backs up Tara Thomas. Also have Jasmine Rambo available. Those are 3 running backs that Texas Elite feels really confident in, and that's not even to mention Tatiana Guidry, who is unavailable and inactive, who had a fantastic regular season. It is a stable of backs for Texas Elite. 3rd down and long. Angel looking for Jackson, a red zone weapon. She comes back to get it. Touchdown, Spartans. Jackson had 8 touchdowns in the regular season, and this is exactly why they look to her in this spot.
Absolutely. They went hitch and go up top. I thought the defender did a great job covering the first move, and that's one thing you want to do as a defender is win the first move of a double move. And, once again, Jackson doesn't have to be wide open to make plays. Michelle Angel dropped a great ball in there, and Jackson was able to make a great catch, and now, puts the Spartans up by 2 scores.
It's one of those where you hear the coaching cliche of always find a way to put it in a spot where only your receiver can catch it. And that's what Maria Jackson received from Michelle Angel. That ball was perfect because good coverage by Leo, just turned around a bit, but because of where that ball was placed, Jackson was the only one that could see it and react to it. So we take another look at it. Just a good ball, good play style all the way through, and Jackson wins the battle.
Yeah, that was a perfect spot, on the ball. It was a great catch by Jackson. I think she got rolled up on there at the end. I hope she's okay. But, like I said, she doesn't have to be all the way open for her to make plays. You feel confident as a quarterback just putting the ball in the air in her direction. She's going to make the play for you.
And you played football with Maria Jackson, played flag football, correct? What makes her special in her skill set that allows her to do that type of stuff?
It's definitely those things. I mean, obviously playing quarterback with a receiver like her, I know she doesn't have to be open. I have full confidence in her. I can put the ball up in her direction, and she'll make you look good. You doesn't have to be perfect all the time, but she's also a great route runner with great hands as well. She's just someone you can rely on. She's a quarterback's best friend.
One of the greatest to ever do it in the WNFC. Puts her stamp on this game midway through the second quarter. Still a long way to go in this one. If you're San Diego, what's the message on the sideline here? Now down by 2 scores.
I think offensively, you just want to get momentum. You want to create a good drive here and find a way to get points. And obviously, 2 dynamic returners, they can easily turn this game around right now on this kickoff return. But offensively, you have to find a way to sustain drives and ultimately get points.
Weisman tees it up again. Ready to kick this one away. A couple dangerous returners back with Lusain picking it up inside the 20-yard line. Weaves around a couple of Spartan defenders and spins out of bounds to the sideline. This is where you would like to see the Rebellion rushing attack start to take over a bit too. We've mentioned Kez Wesley from the jump, a Dallas native who put together a phenomenal regular season, all-conference type of year. She's been really quiet to this point. Texas Elite wants to do that. They want to take away the #1 threat, and right now the Spartans' defense has done so.
1,000%. They've done a great job taking away that run game, and that's something that you have to do if you want to beat the Rebellion. It's interesting to see what adjustments the Rebellion have made now that they have another trip on offense. What can they do to attack this defense? Wesley
is in the formation to the right side of Danny Trainer at quarterback. 8.5 to play in the second. This one locked it up, batted down at the line of scrimmage. Looked to be a screen play, but it was broken up initially. Wesley never really had a shot to the football, so there was a lot of contact through.
Yeah, but that was a perfect play call. They went 0 blitz on first down. If you're able to hit that screen, that could have been a game-changing play. But they were able to bottle things up and not create a clear sight line, for the quarterback to make a play. But the linemen were out, and the play was set up great with the 0 blitz. They were just unable to execute it.
Wesley, the intended target, would have had all sorts of running room, but blown up by the second level of Texas Elite. More pressure. Rolling out, underthrown. Looking for Zamora, the tight end.
And that's the problem now with Texas Elite taking away the run game. San Diego's looking to pass more, and this is just allowing Texas Elite's pass rushers now to start teeing off. We have some of the best pass rushers in the league, and now they're allowing them to pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. And now you're looking at 3rd and long, obviously pass situation. So once again, they can just pin their ears back and go after the quarterback.
And that first incompletion felt like it took the wind out of the sails a bit because of what it could have meant for San Diego. Now they got to make up the room. Here's Palmer with the pressure. The throw is away just in time, but it was Whitney Palmer again off the line of scrimmage. And it's incomplete to bring up 4th down.
And one thing you want to do here, in this situation, you want to try to step into the pocket if you're the quarterback. Obviously, with 2 elite edge rushers, you don't want to try to roll left or right because you're going to end up running right into them, and there's something that happened there. If she can find a way and find that confidence to just step up in the pocket, I think she can buy herself some more time to look downfield and make a play.
Another 3 and out by San Diego, forced by Texas Elite. One of the better punts we've seen on the day will cross the 50-yard line out of bounds at the Spartans' 46-yard line. Right at the halfway point nearly of this second quarter, Michelle Angel and the Texas Elite Spartans leading by 2 scores. Chance to make it a 3-score game by going down and putting up some points here. What's been the most impressive part that you've seen from the Spartans throughout this one?
I think they're poised. They've come out obviously with a game plan. They want to create quick passes. They want to run the football. That's exactly what they want to do. They haven't really had to adjust yet. Even though the San Diego defense has been really strong, they haven't necessarily stopped them yet. And that's something I think Texas is feeling more and more confident in, that their game plan is sound and they're able to execute the things that they want to execute.
Yeah, the one bright spot for San Diego has come on 2 different stands. One was the interception. The other one came on the goal line stand. Other than that, it's been all Texas Elite in this one. Thomas with the opening carry of the drive. Picks up 2. Spartans 8-0 on this 2026 season. They were not undefeated last year, so that's something else to strive for after they worked their way back to the IX Cup title a year ago. They did suffer a regular season loss. This year, not so much, and it really hasn't been close. The closest game the Texas Elite played this season was against Mississippi in week 1, a 14-6 win, where the Panthers really challenged the Spartans. As there's another completion to Jackson. Slips out of a tackle and may have picked up first down yardage just past the marker, and it was the second effort that got her there.
And that's one thing that they're willing to do. If you're going to play off as defensive backs, they'll take hitches all day long. And obviously throwing them to Maria Jackson, she's going to make the play. And then obviously, as we saw there, has an opportunity to run after catch and after contact and maybe turn a 5-yard catch into a 10, 12, 15-yard game.
That battle continues between Jackson and Leo. Both have won their fair share back and forth. Now Angel loads up and throws it to the left and overthrows the target out wide and to the left, second down. Going back to the schedule conversation, from that 14-6 win, there was not a single game that Texas Elite played that was within 2 scores from that point forward, including shutouts against Chicago, Tennessee, and then one score allowed against both Kansas City and Atlanta. Then, of course, last week against Washington, they took down the Prodigy 33-6. Hand off again to Thomas. Broken tackle. Thomas to the second level, caught from behind, but is inside the 30, down to the 25.
And that's a great look at the contact balance that we talked about earlier. You know, earlier in the game, I compared her, if you've never seen this game before, to Jahmyr Gibbs, and you saw her speed there, her burst there. She was able to break tackles. You know, she took 2 shots there and was able to keep balance and create extra yardage there. And once she gets into the second and third levels, she's so explosive, she can make things happen.
I love that comparison to Gibbs. I want to utilize her as much as possible. Good tackle in the open field. This Rebellion defense is physical. They were highly touted coming into this game, but Texas has done everything to this point to really challenge the Rebellion. And it's really the team speed. Texas has it, and there aren't a ton of teams in the WNFC that can counter it. Angel pressured again, overthrows, also in coverage. Secondary has been playing well for the Rebellion up to this point, and the Spartans still trying to sift their way through it.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, they found a way to find some plays, and this is one of those moments where you need one more. You know, if you're an offense now, you're begging the defense to make one more play for us. Hopefully we can get back on the field and do something. But, you know, this is a big drive for them to not allow Texas to score.
Angel pressure, taking down. The first sack of the game comes on 3rd and long. It's Sabrina Kessler who made the play on the turnover on downs, and now she puts Texas Elite in another tough spot.
Yeah, I think the initial read was Thomas coming out of backfield on the wheel route, and when it got taken away, I think it caused her to hold the ball a little too long and allow pressure to get there. So great job, you know, by the Rebellion defense taking away that first option.
Kessler lays down the hammer too. Angel taking a shot. See how she reacts on 4th down and long. The offense stays on the field. Angel now looks to the sideline and a timeout call.
Second charge timeout, Texas.
Ball. Not even a poor decision on her part. But that's what it's been for Michelle Angel. The Rebellion haven't made it easy on the Spartans offense.
And she's done a great job, though. 2nd year now leading the Spartan offense, just being poised in the noise. You know, there's a lot going on as a quarterback when you drop back. And, you know, obviously, Rebellion has great rushers as well. You can't see the rush or feel, you have to feel it and then get the ball out. And she's done a great job doing that and staying composed now in her 2nd year starting with them.
Yeah, even against the toughest defense she's faced all year. Looks cool, calm, collected behind center. She has to do it again here on 4th down and 15. Texas going for it. Angel winds up left side. It is incomplete. The intended target was Summer McNeil. Couple of white jerseys in the vicinity, and there's a penalty marker down in the backfield.
This could be a huge call here.
That's a good throw by Angel as well. Here's the
Personal
call.
foul, roughing the passing. Number 43 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Not only does that keep the drive alive, but that is a dash to the hopes for San Diego here in this first half. Orlando Diaz makes the late contact with Angel on the deep pass attempt, and it is an extra life for the Spartans.
Absolutely. She had, her hand hit her in the face, and, it's obviously illegal, and now you have to do a job that you've already done again, which is stop them on 4 down. So tough, tall task now for the Rebellion defense as they get deeper and deeper into the red zone now to try to stop Texas Elite from coming away with points on this drive.
Looked like she was just trying to get a hand on the football. Instead, got a handful of face mask. This one put on the turf. Angel hops on top of it. Speaking of extra lives, it looks like 9 lives at the moment for Texas Elite.
Offside. Defense, number 7, lined up in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, that's Larissa Hollenshed who lined up in the neutral zone. So either way, doesn't matter. The fumble on the ground negated by the penalty. And the Rebellion, who played a really clean first quarter and a half, kind of feels like they're starting to fall apart from the penalty markers.
Yeah, this defense has been on the field for a lot of the game, so they're probably getting tired and fatigue is starting to set in.
First down and 5. Play action. Angel, what a move by Jackson, but the throw is underneath. Jackson made the move of the day to lose her defender, but Angel had already let go of the football.
Yeah, put it a little too far outside, but, that was a great play call, and Jackson did a great job at the top of the route winning, and just unable to catch that football, but that was a great play call.
That would have been about as wide open as any receiver has been today for the Spartans. The Rebellion secondary has held tough. Even the big grabs from Texas Elite have been contested throughout. Back to the ground. Thomas met by Lusain. That is a heavyweight battle. Tara Thomas against Brittany Lusain. That is worth the price of admission.
Absolutely. That's a name we haven't called much today, Lusain. She's obviously a star for this Rebellion defense and does a lot of things for them. I think for them to be successful, we need to call her name a little bit more today. And this is a timely situation for her to make a play.
Hometown product out of San Diego. 61 tackles last year at the second level of that San Diego defense. 15.5 tackles for loss. He's had 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, one of the best turnover machines in the WNFC. Like you said, they need her to make a couple plays. Angel, pump fakes, throws, open receiver, it's caught, into the end zone she goes. It's a touchdown for the Spartans. Thompson worked open. Thomas makes the play, and Texas Elite keeps the onslaught rolling in the first half.
Yeah, there was confusion before this play started on the Rebellion defense. I'm not sure what was going on. I think they were trying to figure out which side they wanted to go with the strength of this call, and they had people running into each other at the snaps, which is never a good thing. But great job there by Thomas finding a way to get open, and another great throw by Angel.
Just the second time she's been on the receiving end of a touchdown. Of course, had the 9 rushing scores this year, and now utilized in the passing game to make it a 21-0 lead for the Texas Elite Spartans as they look for their 6th WNFC title here in the 9 Cup.
Yeah, and Thomas, she's versatile enough to line up in the slot, and that's something special now. As the football has evolved, you get these backs who can, true 4-down backs, 3-down backs who can line up anywhere and be successful. I had the honor of coaching Christian McCaffrey in Carolina. One thing he was able to do is line up anywhere over the field and make plays. As a legit slot receiver, and Thomas lined up there, was able to run a great out route for a touchdown.
As a coach, it just gives you almost an unbeatable piece because you don't know how to defend him. Do you defend him as a receiver? Do you defend her as a ball carrier? What is the way to stop somebody like Christian McCaffrey, as you talk about? And then, of course, here with Tara Thomas and what she brings to the women's game.
Yeah, if I knew this answer, I could probably make a lot of money because a lot of people still trying to stop him. But, I mean, you have to figure out your matchups and your defense. What do you want to do? If you go man, there's going to be a safety. A linebacker's probably not going to be fast enough. So what are you going to do? And that's something they're going to have to decide. A little wrinkle there. She doesn't line up in the slot too much. That may be something they've never seen. So an unscouted look there scored a touchdown.
One of the images I really liked there in between the touchdown and now the kickoff is Odessa Jenkins is still very active on the sideline, coaching up the squad, getting everyone ready for the second half. As this one's taken on a hop by San Diego, outside wide to the right. Did the ball pop out? It did not, at least not there at the end, and it's recovered either way by Zappia. Defense back on the field for Texas Elite, and Whitney Palmer has been a game wrecker so far, which is not out of the ordinary for the Texas Elite pass rusher.
Yeah, when you get ends who can cover sideline to sideline, she plays with high effort. As you see her, they're making another play on the back. She's important for this defense, and she's been all over the field. She hasn't let them down at all.
The pressures, the extra coverage that she's provided. There you look at her regular season numbers. Feels like every play she has something to do for the defense, as this one's just out of reach on 1st and 10.
And one thing now, San Diego's yet to challenge the Texas Elite secondary down the field. So now they're really just sitting on everything. So you see the quick game's not open anymore as they came back to the well on a play that's worked earlier. But now the corners, the safeties are really sitting, really making them try to go downfield on them now and attack them vertically.
They tried that deep ball on the opening play of regulation. Did not come up with the grab, and now they go to the ground with Wesley. Kez Wesley taken down. They said down by contact before the ball pops out after a gain of 2. Who's going to make the big play? Right now it's been just Palmer defensively for Texas Elite. Feel like you can't get away from her, but who's going to make the big play for the Rebellion if they hope to score before halftime and work their way back into this game?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to find somebody to make a play. In here, you would love for it to be, your quarterback taking leadership of the offense and be able to create a play down the field. And this is a very important 3rd down now because Texas can get the ball back with a 2-minute drive situation.
There it is, looking downfield. There is an open receiver, but working underneath her for the interception is Jamie Locke. Her second game-changing play of the day. She had the opening touchdown on a punt return, and now she has the interception.
Yeah, she did a great job playing free safety there. Obviously, it was only one vertical route for her to cover, so she was able to track that football and make a great play on the ball. That's a great catch. She covered a lot of ground on that play. She started almost in the middle of the field when that ball was thrown, did a great job getting outside, and not only deflecting the pass, but making a play on it for the interception.
Trainer throwing that football, I'm sure thought Taylor was wide open. Like you said, Locke covered all sorts of ground from about the left hash mark all the way to the numbers in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, you want your safeties to be able to cover, and no one's truly open if you can get safeties who can negate those mistakes by DBs.
Now plenty of time. Only one timeout remaining for Texas Elite and the Spartans offense. They want it all on 1st down. Deep throw. Lots of contact at the second level, but no penalty.
Yeah, Texas Elite staying aggressive. We talked about Odessa Jenkins staying involved on the sideline, and that's something they're doing right now. Their championship pedigree, all they know is blood in the water right now, getting the ball back with 2 minutes left, with the opportunity to score again, to almost put this game away, in their mind, because San Diego's going to have to do some soul searching in the locker room if they're able to score here.
Even though it was incomplete, you got to see the showcase of Michelle Angel's arm talent. Not the biggest player on the field, but she can launch the football nearly 40 yards downfield on that incomplete pass. Here she is rolling out again, throwing into open space, nobody there. San Diego sideline is wanting an intentional grounding call. It didn't seem like there was a receiver in the vicinity.
Yeah, I didn't see one. I don't know if they ruled her outside of the pocket when she rolled out. I'm not sure why that's not a ground. I didn't see any other receivers on that play.
She may have worked to the left of the tackle box there, just by a
Intentional grounding.
smidge.
Offense, number 7. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, accompanied by a loss of down. 3rd down.
And the officials determined that they did not
Absolutely.
see Michelle Angel work to the outside. I think that's the right call. There was nobody there. You could see Ninji Martin, the second level of the Rebellion defense, trying to call for that intentional grounding, and they do get the penalty marker.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, the Rebellion defense coming up big here. And now with this 3rd and long situation, they're thinking about getting the ball back and giving their offense another opportunity to get points on the board now. As Texas Elite Spartans faces 3rd and, about 18.
Long way to go for Texas Elite. This one complete underneath. McNeil with some running room, but still taken down by Christina Jordan out of the Rebellion secondary. 2 minutes left here in the second, and it looks like San Diego will get the ball back. They benefit from the 2 minutes. Well, so not out of it yet, despite the 21-0 score, but a stop here if you're Texas Elite could go a long way to doing so.
1,000%. I like the play call there on the 3rd down from Texas Elite, the tunnel screen. It almost broke. You have to beat the DN's retrace on that play, and the DN was able to grab a shoelace essentially to stop that play. But now it brings up a little more manageable down now if you want to go for it here if you're Texas Elite.
On 4th down, it looks like they will punt it away. It's actually the first punt of the game for the Spartans, if they actually punt it away. It's a big if. Maybe some trickeration in the middle of the field for the Spartans. A couple players back to receive. It is indeed a punt as Wiesman gets into it. It's muffed, but picked up regardless. Bit of nervous energy from the Rebellion. No return, but Jordan hops on top of it to secure possession.
Yes, very fortunate she was able to recover that muff punt. That would have been catastrophic if the Texas Elite punt team was able to fall on that. She was able to retain possession now, and still time left, to get a drive going and something positive to go into halftime with if you're the San Diego Rebellion.
1:52, 2 timeouts left. They'll need to go 78 yards to put some points on the board. Remember, they do have a weapon at kicker, quite possibly the best kicker in the league, and Jocelyn Charette. Fake handoff to Wesley, a broken play. Trainer couldn't get away, and there's the Texas Elite defense showing off again. Gidry has been fantastic in her career. Makes another big play for a tackle for loss.
Yeah, and it's showing once again, it's going to be hard to run outside on this Texas Elite Spartan defense. You're going to have to try to find ways to run on the interior A gap, B gap, C gap runs, because getting outside against these 2 DNs has proven to be extremely difficult for the Rebellion offense.
The Rebellion at 7-1 on the year. Their lone loss in week 6 to Kansas City. They are in trouble here as down goes Trainer again. A combined sack for the Spartans front 7. This offensive line having trouble holding up again as, like you said a moment ago, that defense is pinning their ears back.
Yeah, the interior is doing a great job as well. We've given the DNs love, but that was an interior sack. The D tackles are doing a great job winning their one-on-one matchups and wrecking havoc now on the interior of the San Diego Rebellion offensive line. And this is one of those moments now you're just trying to get out of the half without giving them points at this point.
Amber Kimbrough was the one in the backfield, made first contact with Trainer. 3 receivers and a tight end in the formation, and a whistle blows. Delay a game again. It's the 3rd time San Diego's been hit.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Big mistakes in big moments as they back up inside their own 5-yard line now.
1,000%. This is a play we probably just want to hand the ball off and try to, cut your losses. And we'll see if Texas Elite decides to take a timeout after this play.
Instead, they're going to throw it over the top. Intercepted. Texas Elite keeps their foot on the gas.
Timeout for an injured offensive player. Timeout for an injured offensive player.
Grace Wiley goes up to get it in coverage.
That's a fantastic play. She's done a great job tracking the football on that play to make an over-the-shoulder catch. Really, really big turnover for this Texas Elite Spartans defense. Now, offense on the field with 16 seconds left, which is plenty of time with the receivers that they have to make a play now and put points on the board to head into half.
You have to admire the fight from San Diego, the interception, leaving 16 seconds on the clock for the offense. How about the flea flicker? Trying to open it things up down the field. It's incomplete. Great coverage by the Rebellion. Brittany Lucane had to drop back and break that pass up just before the catch.
Yeah, I like that. Coming off of a timeout, change of possession in that 40-40 range, take a shot. Why not there? They went for the trick play. Didn't work, but I like the aggressiveness that Texas coming out with. Truly a championship team now, trying to put this game away with the score before half.
Yeah, one thing in talking to each of these coaches, they know this defense from San Diego is disciplined, and you saw it there. Didn't get caught up in the eyewash and the candy behind the line of scrimmage. They were able to stay on their assignment. Can they do it again? Deep downfield, contact, and falling to the ground is Jackson. They're going to talk about it, but she gets tangled up with Armin Christina Leo, the defender, and the ball falls incomplete.
Yeah, it looked like a little accidental foot traffic there, so you're not going to get the interference call on that play. But I like the idea of what Texas is doing now. Maria Jackson, can we put a ball up there? Because she's out there somewhere if you're a quarterback. Can you put the ball up and allow her to try to make a play? I would be surprised if she gets another opportunity here in this last play of the half.
One more chance to take a shot. Texas Elite leading 21-0. Looking to put their stamp on the first half. Launched right side, back to it, catching it inside the 10 is Maria Jackson. But the Spartans' first half, a little up and down from Michelle Angel, but she found her footing late, mostly because of the playmaking ability at wide receiver. Maria Jackson was fantastic. Saw Wiesman make a couple plays. Amanda Heilman on a big third down and long. Those receivers made plays for Angel, but that's what she's done all year, is continue to get them the football and keep protecting the ball as well.
1,000%. She has a great group around her, and she does a great job getting them the football in space and allowing them to do what they do best. And, she doesn't make a lot of mistakes. She had the interception early, which was caused by pressure in the first half, but she does a great job managing this team and creating plays when they need them most.
We'll see if the Rebellion can turn the tides themselves. This has been a defense all year, ranked number 2 in scoring defense. Only allowing 6.5 points per game. Here's Tara Thomas. First play from scrimmage, offensively breaks to the outside. It's tiptoes her way right to the 50-yard line before she's pushed out of bounds, stepped out at the 49.
Yeah, and she showed what she can do right there. She was able to make a one-step cut on an outside zone run and get north. That's what you want to do. You see she made Lucane miss in the open field with a one-step cut. A lot of backs, that's going to be 2 steps, 3 steps to be able to make that cut. She was able to put her foot in the ground and make that, and then use her elusive speed to get down the field. And she almost created a huge play here to start the second half.
One of her longest runs of the day. Found the end zone as a pass catcher in the middle of that second quarter. Not the way the Rebellion wanted to start on defense. Now Angel winds up, throws right side, complete to Jackson. Battle for position with Leo as Jackson is taken to the turf. Gain of 6.
And once again, another hit to Maria Jackson. They hit her several times in the first half, and that's something that you can do all the time if they're going to give it to you, and it allows them to stay on schedule. Once again, that's what it's all about in offensive football. Can we get 4 yards of play to create easy third and short situations to generate first downs?
Jackson was extremely active in that first half. 7 receptions for the Spartans. Has her first one of the second half now. Pump fake by Angel. Left side, wide open receiver, caught inside the 25-yard line. It's Wiesman into the end zone. Touchdown, Spartans. Texas Elite strikes for the home run ball early in the third.
And, you know, one thing I saw in that play that goes, you know, unsung, Tara Thomas picked up a pressure off the edge there, did a great job stepping up, picking up pressure, which allowed Angel to throw the ball down the field. And that's just a great play, pitch and catch, you know, to another receiver for the Texas Elite Spartans offense. And now they find themselves back in the end zone now to start the second half.
No second half shutout this time around in the 9 Cup for the Spartans. Took them just 1 minute and 37 seconds to go down the field and score from 75 yards out. The touchdown puts them up 28-0. That's officially a 4-score lead, even with the 9 possible points available on each possession in this WNFC. But you have the 28 points on the board, and the defense hasn't shown any signs of slowing down either.
Absolutely. And this is a moment as you get another look at this beautiful pitch and catch down the field of Wiesman. She made a great job there, staying in bounds as well. And that's beautiful. You know, you can't draw that up any better. Safety was a little late in her rotation. They were able to throw the ball down the field for the fly route, and she caught it and ran to the end zone. And now, you know, defensively, Texas Elite Spartans, you know now they have to throw the ball, and this just allows their D-line now to really, they're probably salivating on the sideline right now. They can't wait to get onto the football field because they know they're going to have to throw the ball. So they want to create as much pressure as possible.
One thing on that play that stuck out was the slight pump fake from Michelle Angel. You played quarterback and safety. How much does just that slight fake force a safety to hesitate and allow for a receiver like Kara Wiesman to get open like that in the deep third?
It did a lot. I mean, it's a game of inches, and that one fake held the safety just long enough for her to be able to make that pass.
So now San Diego with their first opportunity of the second half. On the return is Taylor. Gets past the 25-yard line, chopped down at the 27. One thing that did not come to fruition for the Rebellion in the first half was the efficient running game across the board. Not only Kez Wesley, but that's the superstar that the Rebellion wanted to get going. That did not happen through the first 2 quarters.
Yeah, Kez Wesley has been someone they've been able to rely on all season. For her to not really be productive in this game, obviously the offense has struggled. They need to find a way to get her going in the second half if they want to be successful.
There's a look at Whitney Palmer, who's been all over the pressure for Texas Elite. That defensive line started early with a tackle for loss, but it felt like San Diego was getting a push up front. Not the case in the second quarter. It felt like the battle of the trenches completely swung in favor of Texas Elite.
Yeah, I think it was 2 things. I think, you know, Texas made some adjustments up front, and then also I think their level of play is starting to wear on the offensive line of the Rebellion.
The physicality and the team speed both paying off. High snap over the head, all the way back to the 15-yard line goes Danny Trainer. Lucky to get a hand on the football as she was pushed to the ground by Whitney Palmer. That could have been disastrous for the Rebellion.
Yeah, there was a miscommunication with the center and quarterback. I don't think anyone's ready to play except for the center. She snapped the ball, and luckily they were able to avoid, you know, a terrible mistake there and retain possession.
Would have put Texas Elite on the doorstep again. Palmer was over the top trying to push Trainer past the football, and then if she was able to successfully do so, Guidry was waiting in the wings as this one's broken up over the middle. Incomplete pass. There's Guidry. Intended target was Ngargiola. 4th down and very long. A quick 3 and out for San Diego.
And they've done a great job turning the San Diego Rebellion offense into one dimension. And now they're going to be forcing them to win throwing the football, and that's going to be tough sledding, I believe, for this Rebellion offense in the second half if they can't get the run game going.
Daniels standing at the Rebellion 43-yard line, primed for some really good field position on their second drive of the third. Play clock hit 0.
First charge timeout. Offense.
And the Rebellion saving the penalty by calling the timeout, but that may come back to bite them later in the game. The NBA draft is officially here. Round 1 is on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC and ESPN, followed by round 2 Wednesday, also at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. You can also stream it all live on the ESPN app. Here in Frisco, Texas, home to the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters since 2016. It's been the home of the WNFC IX Cup for the past several seasons. Odessa Jenkins, the head coach of the Texas Elite Spartans and founder of the WNFC, with the long-term contract to be here and under the big lights where the Cowboys practice and prepare for their NFL season under head coach Brian Schottenheimer. Actually, brand new turf inside the Ford Center as well this offseason. This is the first football game played on the brand new turf. The only people that have played football on the turf so far are practice sessions for the Dallas Cowboys. As here's Crystal Daniels picking up the ball late in the process. Turns at the 45, being chased from behind and finally tackled. That was a booming punt from San Diego to at least put up Texas Elite in their own territory to begin their second drive of the third.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a great job there getting them out of bad field position now. Hopefully the defense can create a play now for the Rebellion.
Let's check in with Maria on the sideline. Maria?
Well, I've been patrolling the sidelines down here, Kyle, and one thing that I've noticed is the intensity for the Texas Elite Spartans. I know that OJ told us just how disciplined she wanted this team to play, but you see it in the way that the offense and defense sprint both on and off the field. And then, as we said, OJ is coaching up players constantly, having conversations with them, whether they do something correct or they make a mistake. And I think because of that, Texas has the lead in the way that they do.
This early run game does not result in positive yardage. A rare tackle for loss as Kelly Smith was brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Good job by San Diego in the front seven to win that battle up front. But you can just see it from that first drive, that intensity from Odessa Jenkins. On the sideline, coaching up, having conversations with her coaching staff as well. Doesn't look like a 28-0 lead when she's the one at the helm.
Yeah, I mean, teams take the identity of their head coach, and this is what this team is doing today.
Went down and scored 75 yards in just a minute and change on their first possession. Completion here, but only back to the line of scrimmage. Complete out wide to Heilman, who had the big play early.
Yeah, once again, taking the hitches. They're giving them hitches, and they're taking them. And that's one thing, offense is, if you're patient enough to just take what defenses are giving you, good things can happen. And they're willing to take 5 yards, 6 yards, every time on these hitches.
How about that stat? Talked about the prowess of the San Diego defense. Under 5 points allowed per game. They had not allowed a single point since their most recent loss. That was back in week 6. They pitched 3 straight shutouts. Not the case today. Texas Elite has put up 28 points on this defense, but this one falls incomplete. Looking for Maria Jackson on the right side. And the punt team trots on. One of the very few 3-and-outs we've seen forced by the Rebellion.
Yeah, and this is great for them. This is exactly what you wanted, other than finding a way to create a turnover. But you're 3-and-out now, hopefully create an opportunity now with a good punt return and can get your offense back on the field as they look to get something started here.
2 returners back again for San Diego. Sweesning gets ready to punt it away. There's Lucene, who had 1 big return earlier into Texas Elite territory. A slow kick to the right side, picked up at the 32-yard line, and that's about it. Heath High School, which is just down the road from us here in Frisco, taking home their first girls flag football championship at the high school level. Both the Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans have been instrumental in supporting the growth of girls flag football in Texas, and it's been great to see. And a lot of them in attendance, I'm sure, today, watching the WNFC Championship, the IX Cup. San Diego back on offense, incomplete on their first play from scrimmage. Player in motion, a handoff to Gargiola around the right side. Instead, it's actually kept by Trainer. He goes right up the middle, close to first down yardage as she slides to the turf.
Timeout for an injured defensive player.
There's a Spartan down at the 40-yard line. That's Ellison, the Boston product, who has been instrumental in that secondary for Texas Elite. While they attend to her at the 40-yard line, let's take a look at some of the miscues that the Rebellion have had. Trying to move the ball here, Jennifer, they got to find some level of rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, they've been struggling all day long, and a lot of, like I talk about, it, self-inflicted. Those are things that you can't have. Bad snaps, pre-snap penalties, delay of game penalties. Those are things that you can't have. They've been able to not connect on a few close passes. In games like this, against an opponent like this, you obviously have to be successful in the things that you're doing. As we see a few turnovers here as well, trying to push the ball down the field that resulted in interceptions.
Yeah, those early picks by Jamie Locke and Grace Wiley in the first half were really what stifled the momentum from the Rebellion, who were moving the football but could never really put together a complete drive. It would stall out one way or the other, as Ellison has helped to her feet but unable to put any pressure on the lower body as she heads to the sideline. That is not the sight the Texas Elite wants to see in a IX Cup championship that, despite the score being lopsided at the moment, we've already talked about it, each possession has the possibility at 9 points, so it's just beyond a 3-score lead. This game is not over by any stretch.
Yeah, this game is far from over. You know, if the Rebellion can get something started here on offense, we can definitely have an interesting football game, you know, heading into this third quarter.
They did reward a first down on the scramble by Trainer. Picks it up, throws it here, complete right side, positive yardage up to the 45. Completion to Zamora.
And they went back to the quick game here on first down. That's something that I like. When you're struggling to run the football, how can we pick up 4 or 5 yards on first down? And that's something they're able to do going to the quick game here. They ran hitches, double hitches on that one side, and was able to hit the slot for 5 yards.
It's been their most promising drive over their last few offensive possessions. Can they continue it? Pressure coming. No chance to get away. Trainer is slung to the ground, and that's the team speed for Texas Elite that they've posted all day long. Anastasia Olavio makes the play.
And that's just great effort coming off the edge. You know, Trainer rolled out, but she was still able to run her down from behind and create that sack, and it's nothing but effort. And this is once again showing the depth of Texas Elite Spartans that they have. This is a name we haven't called today, but she came off the edge, you know, like a wild woman, and was able to go get that sack for her team.
Olavuo, who did not have a full credited sack in the regular season, has one to herself here to bring up 3rd and long. Quick pass play, complete. Gargiola makes the grab, tries to break outside the numbers, and is sandwiched in between a couple of Spartan defenders. 4th down and short. And here comes the punt team for San Diego. Is this the right decision?
I mean, it's the right decision for them, I feel. You know, I don't know if you would like to be aggressive here just because of the way that the Dallas defense has been playing. It isn't put your defense in a bad position. You just create a 3 and out. You feel confident your defense can do the same thing now if you can give them the ball back, but who knows here.
That's a tough one. You could even see Danny Trainer going to the sideline. They did not like the call.
First charge signed out. San Diego, 30 seconds in length.
And I believe that's actually the second charge timeout, and for the same reason. The clock was winding down on the play clock. They did not get the special teams unit out in time. Same scenario, but to avoid a delay of game, they called their second timeout of the third quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Game management is huge, and that's been an issue for this
Correction,
Rebellion
San
team in
Diego
this game.
second charge timeout.
So you have to be able to manage the game, manage the clock. Not having the right personnel on the field now has cost them 2 timeouts here in the second half. That could turn out to be very valuable for them.
Yeah, that is crucial at the moment. There's a look at Ninji Martin having to control that tempo on the sideline as well. Let's check in with Maria. Maria?
Well, we've been celebrating all of the stories with the players on the field, guys, but I have a story about a player who's off the field right now. This is Kilolo Westerland. She's one of the first flag players to ever receive a Division I scholarship, and so we talk so much about the game growing. Here's a prime example of it, somebody in the stands watching who's helping grow this game as well. And Jennifer, you're another person who's helped grow this game. How cool is it to see people like this here at the WNFC Championship?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, Kilolo is obviously grown into a monster in the flag world, a true talent of the game, and it's exciting to see her out supporting these WNFC athletes as well.
You could see the San Diego special teams unit was back out on the field, run a fake punt, but it did not go anywhere, and now a Rebellion player down. Here's a look at it. Actually, they brought the offense back out there, and they run the play on 4th down and short. And there was just nothing going. Texas Elite was all over it. Second play, we've seen Olavuo, who made the sack earlier in the drive, and now bringing a Rebellion player to the ground, and effective so far. Back to the ground. Here's Rambo. Up the middle and right to the 40-yard line. There you go.
Yeah,
straight line speed.
Absolutely. And right as I say that, they run up the gut on the lead play. And she did a great job. I mean, sometimes it's hard for speed backs to run inside the interior of the line. She did a great job there picking where she wanted to go and then putting her pads down and really following her pads on that play and letting them speak. You know, sometimes a smaller back has trouble doing that when they want to run on the outside. But she did a great job there running tough, just like her coach does.
Chance here for the Rebellion, despite a couple of positive plays, to get off the field with another 3 and out. High snap, Rambo touched behind the line of scrimmage, but unable to be brought down, and here she goes. Inside the 30, down to the ground at the 27-yard line. Bit of chirping from the Rebellion, trying to will their team back in it, but it's first down yardage for Texas Elite.
Yeah, the Texas Elite Spartans are riding Rambo on this possession. She's doing a great job picking and choosing where to go and then using her speed. I love to see how she finished that run. You know, smaller backs sometimes may opt to try to run out of bounds on that play or not try to run through someone's chest that she did there. I'm really proud of her for doing that. She's showing the toughness I didn't know she had running the football right now.
Last season, it was the running attack with Jasmine Rambo and Destiny Yarbrough, who were really the 1-2 punch, and you talk about a change of pace. That was physicality versus straight juice without Tara Thomas in the fold, but now you add Thomas back in the mix. Yarbrough not a part of the squad this year, had to medically retire prior to the season. Unfortunate loss, but now it's been Thomas and Rambo in that backfield for the Spartans. Here goes Rambo again. It's an extra push past the line of scrimmage inside the 25-yard line.
And I think this is one of those drives where the Texas Elite Spartans, they're just trying to insert their will right now. They're going to ground and pound this San Diego Rebellion defense. And, you know, they hadn't looked to pass the ball yet. They've given the ball to Rambo every possession. Now the offensive line, they're starting to get a great push up front on this San Diego Rebellion defensive line. And now she's not getting touched, so she's 3 or 4 yards down the field.
Haven't even gone to the air on this drive yet. Haven't needed to. With the way that they're running the football, winning the trenches. They have taken advantage of the big push up front. Here it is again. Rambo with some space and a blocker out front. First down inside the red zone. There's a penalty marker back at the 24-yard line. Right in the spot of a possible hold. We'll see what the call is. As Texas Elite will start backing it up. This is taking a bit of conversation before getting there.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 78 of the offense. The result of the play is a first down. It's a 15-yard penalty. Still first down, Texas.
So they'll back up 15 yards, but not until after the play was already concluded. Tammy Moore, one of the veterans of this squad that have been around since 2017, called for the unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, Tammy Moore is one of the best offensive linemen in football. It doesn't get much better than Tammy Moore, and she's been an anchor on this Texas Elite Spartans offensive line for many years now. She does a great job for them, and obviously they're riding this offensive line on this drive, allowing them to run block every play, which is offensive lineman's dream.
Saw the chirping a couple plays earlier, too, from the Rebellion. Maybe a bit of rebuttal from Texas Elite. Rambo gets up to about the 28-yard line. Despite the 15-yard penalty, it's still just 1st and 10, as it did reset the chains. So now 2nd and 8 for the Spartans. As Rambo checks out, that's a well-earned breather for her.
Absolutely, and now they bring Kelly Smith into the game. And we talked about, you know, the Spartans having a stable of backs, and now they're using all of them as they continue to wear down this Rebellion defense.
Starting to wear down the clock, too. Under 3.5 to play. This third quarter has gone by very quickly, mostly because of the ground and pound attack by Texas Elite. Now they go to the up back. How about that stiff arm thrown? Extra yardage for Amber Kimbrough. That is not somebody you want to get in front of when you're a defender.
It's not. She runs the ball so hard. She's been blocking every play this drive, so I love that they gave her a chance to carry the rock, and that's how you finish a run right there.
Whew. That's against one of the best defenders in the WNFC, and Brittany Lucene. That's not just an anybody defender. That's one of the best ones in football. Give credit to Lucene to get in front of Kimbrough, force the stop. But she paid the price. There's some more hitting down on the sideline. You can hear that collision from the booth. 2.5 to play in the third.
The Spartans' backs are doing such a great job finishing runs. You know, their coach was a great running back in her day, and you can tell they play with the personality that she has. They're all tough runners, no matter how big or small they are.
Talked about the collision there, and then another defender down for the Rebellion. They have been tested by Texas Elite. The Spartans have struck for the big play multiple times in this one.
Yeah, they've been able to connect down the field several times here. We showed this great catch by Wiseman, and you know, the Angel has done such a great job finding her receivers down the field, and they made plays for her. Maria Jackson, once again, coming up with a big touchdown play there. Tara Thomas has been great all day long. She has to be approaching nearly 100 yards for today, and you know, she also has a passing touchdown as well. But anytime several of their players touch the football, they have an opportunity to score. And you love when you can get those guys and those women that can score from anywhere on the field. And they legit have that big play ability and able to do that, as we see Angel connect with Wiseman here once again for the touchdown that got things started here in the second half.
That was the biggest play from scrimmage for Odessa Jenkins and the Spartans in this one. Katie Claxton was the injured player for the Rebellion. Off to the sideline she goes. She's one of the best players on that Rebellion defense. Not having her in the fold leaves a huge hole in the second level for San Diego that they'll look to replace. But now inside of 2 minutes, the clock continues to churn for Texas Elite. 1st and 10. Again to the up back it goes. This time stacked up well by San Diego.
And this is when it gets dangerous for San Diego's defense. Obviously, Texas Elite is trying to ground and pound here on this possession, but you can't forget about the core receivers that they have. Maria Jackson's still out there. Wiesman has made several plays today. And, you know, we can't forget about McNeil as well, who's been big all season. So I think they need to stay on their toes in their Rebellion secondary here to prevent a big play through the air from the Spartans.
And remember what Coach Odessa Jenkins said, do not sleep on Amanda Heilman. She already had one big play early. She is in the formation at the top of the screen for the Spartans. Hand off to Smith. Nothing going this time. She runs right into Sabrina Kessler. Tried to finish the run like you mentioned these backs have been doing, but held strong in front. Gain of just 1. 3rd down and 7 incoming. This is one of those drives where you lull a defense to sleep. It's been run all the way through. A play action pass can really do some numbers if the defense doesn't stay to their assignment.
1,000%. And the Rebellion has stayed in coverage. They hadn't went 0 yet. I'll be surprised to see what they play here. It looks like they're going to stay in coverage with a 1-high safety. But obviously, once again, in this red zone, Maria Jackson comes alive.
Jackson down at the bottom of the screen. Upon the snap. Play clock down to 0 again. Did Texas Elite get a timeout off?
Offense.
No.
5-yard penalty. Still third down.
That'll help out San Diego a bit. A bit of a return of the favor than the penalties we saw earlier in the matchup.
Yeah, that's big for Texas Elite. Obviously, we talked about the kicking game from San Diego. Texas Elite is not quite blessed with that same kicking game, able to kick 40-yard field goals. So to push them out of range is big for this defense here, creating a third and long situation.
Yeah, that would be a huge loss for a defense that has already been struggling to keep this Texas Elite offense at bay. Angel lines up, throws over the middle, a bit of friendly fire. Takes away a turnover possibility. It falls harmlessly to the turf, but it's fourth down either way.
And that shows the confidence that Angel has in Maria Jackson. She threw a post to the middle field safety with confidence that Jackson was going to make that play. I can't blame her, but that was a dangerous throw. And they're very fortunate San Diego didn't pick that ball off.
Jordan already has an interception today. Leo has made some plays herself, 3 interceptions on the year. And then even Brittany Lucene was in the party. That's triple coverage over the top of Maria Jackson, which is the type of respect she deserves. Offense stays on the field for the Spartans. 4 wideouts, 2 to each side on fourth down and long. Angel again, left side, throws just off the hands, incomplete. It's a turnover on downs, and the Rebellion get the football back just 12 seconds into this fourth quarter.
So once again, the Rebellion defense able to make a stand, and they went man coverage there on a big fourth down play. It was forcing Angel to throw into tight windows, and they were able to get a stop there. Hopefully their offense now can get something started. The defense is really doing a great job preventing Texas Elite from running away with this game, but at some point the offense has to get things started, in this fourth quarter now.
Yeah, the offense has been really stagnant throughout the game. They've put together some promising drives, but unable to cap off any of them. Here's Wesley. And that's the type of positive yardage you want to see early from Kez Wesley. And a penalty marker in the backfield maybe will work against that.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 55. 15-yard penalty to be added to the end of the run. First down.
Second time in as many drives that Texas Elite has been called for a personal foul. This time it's Franny Robinson. What does that tell you about the Spartans on their side of things? 2 straight penalties that they've had to take.
Many great defenses live on that edge. There's a lot of great defenses that get those penalties sometimes, and I think the Spartans are no different, playing to the whistle and sometimes a little after.
There's a bit of space past the 50-yard line, inside the 40. Slung out of bounds. Zamora has had a couple receptions to this point in the game, but found some open space outside the numbers and took advantage.
And these are the type of plays the Rebellion offense needs. Some success on first down, success on second down, get a penalty to help move the ball as well. So now, can they sustain this drive and ultimately put points on the board?
Danny Trainer at quarterback. Looking left into coverage. That was dangerous again. This time, Jessica Collins was lurking for a possible pick. That one may not have been stopped.
Yeah, I think there was a miscommunication there between the quarterback and receiver. The bottom of the screen, they had like an out and go combination. I think it should have been the same thing. The outside receiver ran in instead of running her go ball. I think that's what caused the congestion.
It looked like 2 receivers, like you said, running the same route. Never a good thing in a playbook. Back to the ground. Wesley does have some blockers out in front. Running room, makes a tackle or miss, and has the first down inside the 30. One of the best rushing attacks we've seen by San Diego in this one.
Yeah, and this is absolutely the production that San Diego wanted to present earlier in the game, being able to run the football. As we talked about, Cass Wesley has been a staple for them all season, creating big plays and first downs for them. She's finally starting to get going now here in the fourth quarter, which is exciting to see. I'm excited to see the Rebellion offense starting to come alive.
Now she averages just under 6 yards per carry. There you see it there. First down. Wesley and an end around. It's Lucene in the formation. She'll take off. Breaks a tackle at the 15. San Diego on the board. It took until the fourth, but the Rebellion not done yet. Brittany Lucene finds Pater.
Yeah, that was a great job by Lucene finding a way. And, you know, usually in games like this, you have 2 weeks to prepare. So you always have a trick play or two that you bring into this game. San Diego was able to get one of theirs off right now. Lucene was able to find pay dirt. And she's a name that we talked about, a star of this team. And she did a great job there finding a way and wheeling herself into the end zone.
And this is a team in San Diego that utilizes some of the playmakers on defense every once in a while on both sides of the ball. They do have the ability to play 2 ways. And now with the PAT up and good, San Diego breaks the shutout. And they did so with a little trickery.
And that was a really great job by Lucene. Obviously, she's a star on defense, but looks pretty good carrying the football there. Was able to break a tackle and use her speed to get into the end zone. And it'll be interesting to see if San Diego has any more trick plays up their sleeve that they may want to break out in this game.
12:50 left, and the way that Texas ran the football on their last possession, you'd have to think that 12:50 can dwindle very quickly if you don't get a stop. San Diego with a little momentum, trying to build on it. This is a big possession for that defense.
Absolutely, and if you're the Rebellion defense here, you can't allow them to win first down. All right, can you get them behind the chains? Can you get them off schedule from jump to hopefully create another 3 and out? Because we allow them to run the ball like they did last time, this clock could be 4 minutes, 3 minutes before you get the ball back. And obviously trailing 3 touchdowns, you have to find a way to get this football back if you're the Rebellion defense.
Kick is up and away. Picked up by Jasmine Rambo inside her own 10-yard line. Tracked down at the 25. Good coverage by San Diego. Here's a stat that points to the significance of Texas's dominance in the WNFC. Not only have they won 16 straight games coming into this, they've won 5 of the 6 previous 9 Cup Championships, and they've been a representative in all 7 of them now over the last 7 years. The 7 points on the board by San Diego is the 2nd most that Texas Elite has allowed this year.
Wow.
Nobody else other than the Mississippi Panthers have put up more than 6 points on the board other than the San Diego team and the 7 they just put on the board in that last possession. That speaks to Odessa Jenkins and what Texas Elite has built as a part of this franchise. 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. Handoff. How about this? Taylor with all sorts of running room again. Tara Thomas with that burst of speed. We saw a big dose of Jasmine Rambo on the last possession. Now Tara Thomas has some fresh legs. Yeah,
and you know, she just was able to get a break last possession. And now if you're the Rebellion, you're dealing with a different type of back. I mean, she's able to run through tackles and use her speed. She has amazing contact balance. There's so many times where the 1st and 2nd tacklers aren't bringing her down to the ground. She's able to run through contact and then open up her stride using her track background to create extra yardage in the secondary.
We talked about this offensive line too. My favorite part of that play was seeing the finish from Desiree McGinnis. That was nasty. Worth a look to go back and rewind on the ESPN app if you could. Go look at that replay and look at the way that the right guard, number 84, finished on that play.
Yeah, and you know, offensive linemen love nothing more than to create pancakes, and that's something that she was able to do there. And you know, they were able to run the ball last series, and now they're mixing it up some now with the run and the pass. Still equally successful, and I think this offense has been well balanced all game long, keeping the Rebellion defense on their toes.
San Diego sideline thought they may have forced the turnover there, but ruled down by contact. And instead, it's a first down for Texas as the Spartans continue to roll. And there's a little trickery on the other side. Now it's Thomas with some space out to the right. That was nearly a mirror to what San Diego did on their scoring drive to find the end zone. Picks up 9 on first down here.
Yeah, showing a little special play from the Texas Elite Spartans as well. I'm sure they come into this game with some special plays up their sleeve as well, and able to get Thomas on the edge. Now, anytime you can do that, it's going to be a successful play. And she's so good with the ball in her hands. You hardly ever see her have negative plays, and I think that's one thing that's always positive for her. She's always moving forward and falling forward.
And with second and short, really opens up the entire playbook here. So they go to the ground. Thomas skirts to the right, breaks outside the numbers into the red zone, pushed out of bounds. The ground game continues to pave the way for the Texas Elite Spartans.
Yeah, it looked like a power play. Everyone calls that God's play. She did a great job there being patient. You know, you see the puller wrapping around. She starts to play in the A-gap. And if you're patient in the A-gap so many times, these gap scheme runs are going to hit right down the middle, which that play did. And once she got to the second and third level, she was able to use her athleticism to create a big play, another explosive run for Tara Thomas.
Somebody at the end of this game is going to receive an MVP award. If you could give it to really anybody on the offensive side for this Texas Elite Spartans squad, you could give it to Jamie Locke on the defensive side for the impact that she's made.
But Texas.
But one thing that I would say is this offensive line as a unit could possibly earn that award as well. They've been absolutely fantastic. Alongside Jennifer King, I'm Kyle Yeomans with Maria Tribalbeast down on the sideline. Let's hear from Maria.
Well, we've been giving so much love to sports in general. You were just talking about the AUSL, Kyle. I just came from Round Rock, Texas, getting to watch those teams play. So really cool if you want to tune in to the AUSL and just women's sports picking up so much steam here in 2026.
Yeah, it really has. You've gotten to see it firsthand, but some of the biggest names in softball have really taken strides forward. This one a stride backward for Texas Elite Spartans, a rare negative play on the offensive side.
Yeah, that was a surge from the defensive line of the Rebellion. They did a great job. For once, they're finally recreating the line of scrimmage in the backfield. That was a great opportunity for them to create a negative play. And we talked about Tara Thomas. That was a rare negative play for her.
Great job by that Rebellion front seven. They need to stop. This one over the middle, caught into the end zone. She breaks the plane. It's a touchdown for the Spartans. Guess who? Maria Jackson does it again.
And there goes that woman again. You know, we've talked about her all day long, and that's a play that shouldn't be there. Once again, there was a middle field safety sitting there, took a bad angle on the post, and Jackson caught the ball and was able to fight for a tough touchdown.
Contested catch, 3 defenders on her. You cannot stop Maria Jackson. Double figures now on the season for receiving touchdowns, her second of the day. And the Spartans increase their lead. That one off to the left, no good. It keeps it at 34-7. How about Maria Jackson?
Yeah, she's tough. I mean, there's a reason why some call her the best ever kicker. You know, she
Number
continues to
97
show.
of the defense. The penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal. Replay fourth down. Replay the try.
So a penalty will give another opportunity for the Texas Elite Spartans, which is significant because keeping it at 27 points would actually be a 3-score game in the WNFC.
Yeah, and that's one of those things we talked about with game management and how the clock, how the point differential here in the WNFC changes the way you look at things. So that was a really big penalty, and now they're able to hopefully extend this game and try to put it away.
Now, how about Michelle Angel? You looked at the stat there, 4 passing touchdowns, had just the 1 interception early, which really wasn't on her. She was pressured and hit from behind for the pick. She's been fantastic. She could possibly be in that MVP conversation as the emotional leader on offense. There's a high snap. Trying to get away, trying to force something to happen, and a whistle blows to play that one dead. So either way, despite the second try, it's no good from the Texas Elite Spartans, and the lead remains 34-7. Let's hear from Maria on the sideline again. Maria.
Things to say about her. She called her calculated, well-studied, but my favorite thing that she said about Michelle Angel was that she's imperfect. She said she's able to respond to mistakes, and we've seen her make a couple mistakes in this game, but then get right back out there and throw big touchdown passes, and I think that's a big reason why she's been successful, and that's what Odessa Jenkins thinks as well.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Last year, first time on this stage, you could see she had the weapons around her. That was never the problem. It was just finding a way to settle into her own confidence and her own growth. And this year, she's done nothing but elevate her game and elevate her squad because of it. That's a reason why they are just 9 minutes and 6 seconds away from a perfect season and going 9-0.
Absolutely. She's turned into a special player. And like you mentioned, she has a great group around her, but she does a great job in her own right, making plays, making the right throws, getting them into right plays. And, you know, that's something for a second-year starter sometimes you don't see. And she's done a great job this season and last season really putting them in great position. And obviously here, you know, just 9 minutes away from possibly another championship.
Yeah, to go back-to-back as a champion, to start your career as the main quarterback on the roster. Of course, you followed up one of the best to ever do it, and Brittany Bushman at quarterback. Replaced her after Bushman's departure. Ooh, big hit on the sideline. Texas Elite keeping their foot on the gas pedal here from a physicality standpoint. That one providing a charge to the crowd on the return.
Yeah, it was a great return, but obviously got to keep your pass down on the sideline. Had a great coach tell me don't be exposed to get hosed, and that's what happened to her on the sideline. She has to protect herself.
Had a big hit laid down by Kristen Okeka-Taylor. Zappia definitely shaken up. She's taken a couple of hits today. Offense back on the field for the Rebellion. They did score on their most recent drive, putting 7 points on the board. They'll look to do so again. This one is a forward pass for a second there. Thought maybe Jamie Locke had an open look at a bit more.
Yeah, and I think the Texas Elite Spartan defense obviously gave up points the last possession. They're going to come out hungry this possession and try to get a turnover or try to create another stop.
You think that plays a factor? The defense hasn't scored a touchdown yet. Texas Elite is a team that has thrived off of defensive scores throughout the year. They did have the special teams score earlier, but no defensive touchdowns yet to put 9 points on the board. This is batted around and incomplete. Locke had a chance at another one.
He almost spoke it up, but that was a great job by her with sticky defense in the secondary, almost creating an interception opportunity for herself. We showed she has the speed to take it to the house when she gets the ball in her hands.
Number one defense in the WNFC, 5 points per game allowed. Number one sack leader in Whitney Palmer. They've put together an incredible season with Jamie Locke on the backside of that defense. Grace Wiley had the pick earlier. Tina Guidry has been fantastic. And a timeout called.
Timeout. San Diego, 30 seconds and left.
San Diego looking at the play clock again, had to go to the sideline, and they burn their final stoppage of the fourth quarter and of the second half. Jennifer, you brought it up earlier, the game management and really the overall feel of this game turned on its head early and it never quite recovered.
Yeah, I mean, those things are so important. Those things win and lose football games, and especially a game of this magnitude. It's going to be so important that you manage the clock, that you manage the game, situationally, making sure your personnel is in the game. Everyone's alert on the sidelines to know the situation and what's going on, so you don't have to call timeouts when things like this happen.
Michelle Angel still talking with Odessa Jenkins, coached up on the sideline by OJ. Those two appeared on Good Morning America this week together. Just incredible voices for this sport and for the growth of the game, top to bottom. They are living proof that it could certainly play a factor in a championship caliber program. They've seen it here. There's more pressure on Danny Trainer. It really feels like if Danny Trainer has had a clean pocket, she can maneuver and make a couple throws. She hasn't had a clean pocket very often today.
Yeah, and you have to be really careful if you're the Rebellion on slow developing plays. You know, you want to have run action on this play, but then that forces her to have to roll out. And then with the speed of the Texas Elite Spartan defense, that's going to make it really tough on her. And there were only 2 eligible receivers on that side of the field, so she had no choice there but to try to make a play or throw the ball away.
4th down and 10 now after the incomplete pass. Punting team back on. An end over end kick. Hits right at the 50-yard line. And it comes to a halt at the 47. Great starting field position for the Texas Elite Spartans. 34-7 on top. And it at this point starting to look like out of hand for San Diego and a possible comeback like we saw from the Washington Prodigy in this game last year. But if you're Texas, you're trying to make a statement here, not only going back-to-back, but by establishing dominance through what has just been an unreal perfect season top to bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they still have their starters in. This is still very much a football game for the Texas Elite Spartans. They're looking to put points up on this drive and really put this game away. I mean, OJ's staying aggressive in her play calling, and they're really just playing their game.
Yeah, everybody's still in the fold here. Michelle Angel back behind center. 40 points has not been an unfamiliar sight for Texas Elite. Heilman reels it in on the near side. Stacked up after a gain of 2. 40 points in week 5 against Tennessee. They actually put up 68 in that game. Had 40 even in week 7 against Kansas City. 40 even in the regular season finale against Mississippi. And then a 28-6 and a 33-6 win in each of their first and second round playoff games. And a similar score to this one, with 7.5, just about 7.5 remaining in the 4th. Jasmine Rambo off to the races. A burst of speed, has to break a tackle. She's inside the 10-yard line. The 1-2 punch behind the line of scrimmage continues to wreak havoc on the Rebellion defense.
Yeah, and the Texas Elite Spartans offensive line now, they're loving this. Anytime you can run block every play, you know, you're really feeding on this if you're offensive lineman. And then Rambo did a great job showing her elite speed in the open field, breaking the tackle and almost scoring there.
Yeah, if it's not Thomas, it's Rambo. If it's not Rambo, it's Thomas. Those two running behind that big offensive line by the Texas Elite Spartans have just been electrifying. Not to mention your quarterback's thrown 4 touchdown passes already. It's a pretty balanced attack across the board. Play action. Angel with time. Throws into coverage, nearly intercepted. Seen a couple of close calls defensively where the Rebellion could have gotten the football back. And another Rebellion defender is down in some pain at the 15-yard line. It's been a physical football game. 34 points on the board by the Texas Elite Spartans. And movement up front early.
That's a great job by Angel using cadence. It's still an easy 5. I think it's going to be offsides on the Rebellion.
Offside. defense, number 97, with contact, 5-yard penalty, still first down. Correction, second down.
How about this? 34 points allowed today by the Rebellion defense. In their 8 games leading into the 9 Cup, they had allowed just 33 points across their entire 2026 season. That is exactly what Texas Elite can do, and then also just how good this Rebellion defense has been throughout the year. Back to the ground, Jasmine Rambo runs into a wall. How about the head coach, Ninji Martin, still setting the tone, still laying down the wood, and forcing 3rd and goal.
1,000%. I think that shows, a true leader, still playing hard in this situation, and she's able to shoot that gap and really make a big play and big hit on Rambo.
He's been fantastic. No surprise. A leader on and off the field for the Rebellion.
And I think
Member
this
of
shows
the community too.
Yeah, and I think this shows, you can score a lot of points in this league, but everyone's not the Texas Elite Spartan. It's a different animal when you face them.
Trying to put the finishing touches on what has been a dominant season and a dominant performance, but they'll have to do so on 4th down and goal. It looks like the field goal team will trot on. Haven't seen a lot of the field goal unit from Texas Elite. Remember, they did miss the most recent point after attempt twice. One on a miss, and then after a penalty gave them a second try. A bobbled snap brought it into the second opportunity. Chance to put 3 on the board here, put themselves up by 30.
They're trying to get everyone onto the field for this field goal. They're going to have to either take a timeout or take the delay. I don't think they're going to get this off.
Yeah, it's close, and well, they gave it to him. It was right at zeros, and it clanks off the left upright. Second time that Texas Elite has been held scoreless inside the red zone. And that was all rushed, like you said, Jennifer. Good eye on your part. They never had a chance to really get set before that play clock actually hit 0, and maybe that's a ball don't lie moment as it hits the left upright.
Yeah, they put themselves in a really tough situation. Obviously, you practice those Toro field goals at times for, when you have no timeouts and you have to get the ball off. But that situation shouldn't have happened. There were people running off the sideline with 10 seconds left, and ultimately they had to rush the process and everything. And that could definitely be a reason why the field goal went wide left.
I believe that's Mercedes Tyler down. Yeah, that is the case as Odessa Jenkins comes over to check on her. Seen a couple of injury timeouts late in this game. Remember, 4:22 left, but these are 15-minute quarters, which is different than the regular season and even the early playoff games for the WNFC. They play the 15-minute quarters instead of 12-minute quarters just to give a little extra opportunity for the bright lights and the spotlight of the 9 Cup Championship game. But that means that's an extra 12 minutes added throughout the course of a game. That's an extra quarter of play, and you're well past that and into the 5th quarter now.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big deal. When you're used to playing 12-minute quarters, now to come play 15-minute quarters, as you mentioned, that's another quarter added to this game. And, obviously these are well-conditioned athletes and world-class athletes, but to play that extended amount of time, it's definitely going to be a wear and tear on your body.
So San Diego does take over with possession. Chance to try and provide some cosmetic help to the scoreboard down below. More than likely, barring a miracle here, it's too little too late, but still pride on the line for a San Diego team that has put together a phenomenal season.
Yeah, and I expect nothing less than to see them keep fighting here in the last minutes. You saw the head coach making plays still on defense.
Yeah, they help set the tone. Another defensive stop inside the 20. Trainer on the screenplay up the middle. They tried this earlier. It did not work, but now it does as Taylor reels in the pass and picks up 6 yards on 1st down.
Yeah, and I like the call. You get a Texas Elite defensive line who's really going to get it because they know you're probably going to throw the ball. So it's a great time to screen them on first down to hopefully slow them down a little bit, their pass rush down, as we move into this drive.
Excuse me, that was Kez Wesley on the reception, who was the intended target the first time they tried that screen play. Would have worked great first time around as well, but it was defended perfectly by one single Spartan. I believe it was the Spartan that just walked off the field too, with Mercedes Tyler. Into the flat, Wesley has to squeeze in between a couple of defenders, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but had to fight to get there.
Yeah, but that swing pass, you would love to see her get more width, get away from the defense to make this play, and then allow her to work in space. She caught this ball, about tackle width, and she wasn't able to do anything with it. You would love to see her get wider on that play so she can use her speed in the open field to make a play.
Final 3 minutes of this one. Rebellion want to take a shot down the right sideline, and they connect. Zapia inside the 10, finishes the job into the end zone. Comes up lame as she does so, but fought through the pain for the touchdown.
She did. That was a really long touchdown completion there late in the game, opening up.
For an injured San Diego player.
Unfortunately, I think she does have an injury on that play. It's a great play. We talked about staying alive, and, San Diego keeps fighting, connecting on a very, very long touchdown here late in the game.
How about this? It was right around the 25-yard line where you could see her really start to slow up, but had already built enough separation. What a throw. Best of the day by Danny Trainer. Puts it on the money, and then Zapia does the rest. Able to stay in bounds, stay in front, and then had to get some teammates to help try and stretch out the cramp on the right sideline. She's back up and walking on her own power now. Remember, she left the field earlier with an injury and now is back and making plays like that. That's the fight from the Rebellion that we anticipated to see.
Absolutely. I mean, they're fighting to the end, and that's a great pitch and catch there. Staying alive and great run after the catch for her not to get caught, fighting through injury to fight to the end zone. That's a big-time play.
So field goal unit on for the point after. One of the best kickers in the WNFC. Puts this one just inside the right upright. And good. 2:46 left in this one. Only the second time this year that a team has scored multiple times against this Texas Elite Spartans defense, and it's the first time since week 1 that it happened.
I think the Rebellion is definitely showing the fight that shows you why they're here. They've made some good plays throughout this game. They haven't been able to put enough together to stay in the game, but they've definitely showed why they're the crown jewel of the Western Conference of the WNFC. They've done some great things and continue to fight here today and, leaving with something they can be proud of. Obviously, it's very hard to get to this spot into the championship game, and obviously to face the Texas Elite Spartans, who's been Goliath in this league. They put on a good effort today. Just hadn't been able to put together enough plays to sustain drives and be competitive late in this game.
Their second appearance inside the IX Cup over their franchise history. Looking for their first ever championship. They also appeared in the IX Cup title matchup back in 2022, falling to Texas Elite. This is going to stay as that's a live football. Down at the 1-yard line. On top of it is San Diego. And they're going to take possession inside the 1.
Wow. I think this is the case of putting an inexperienced returner back to get her some experience and makes a catastrophic error not knowing that this was a live football.
The hustle all the way down to the goal line to pick up that football. Turns into an extra possession. That's Gianna Zamora with the recovery and the hustle to get there. She's back on the field on offense. I said barring a miracle, We're a couple steps into that. We've had a big play and now a huge turnover. See if the Rebellion can punch this in. And it won't happen on this play. Here come the Spartans. That was a jailbreak behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to run up the middle against this Spartan defense in this situation. I think if you want to try to run in between the tackles, you should try to spread them out. Running bunch formations down here tight, 12, 13 personnel is going to be really tough because that allows their defense to really set and really explode off the football. So if you want to try to run, up the middle of the defense, I think you should spread them out in this situation.
This is one of those games where you really enjoy being a play caller. You get the big bright lights, and now you get to have some creativity on the offensive side. And timeout on the field.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
San Diego making things interesting down the stretch, trying to put up some points against the Texas Elite Spartans. Final 2 minutes of the 9 Cup.
Now,
WNFC Flag, a special salute to WNFC Flag, helping create new pathways and opportunities for women and girls to participate, compete, and lead through football. Final 2 minutes of the 2026 9 Cup. Brittany Lucene on the carry. Back inside the 5-yard line, but it's 3rd and goal following a special teams turnover. Texas Elite and the Spartans closing in on title number 6.
Yeah, and the Rebellion.
There are a couple of players down here.
Yeah.
They do call a timeout on the field as Ellison slow to get up.
That's something we hadn't seen, though. We've seen a quarterback in that Wildcat package.
Yeah.
Down here at the goal line.
A couple new wrinkles by San Diego, even late in this football game.
Got to get him off the call sheet.
That's a good point. You prepared him to this point, right? Trying to do something that nobody's done against the Texas Elite Spartans since week 1 of last year, and that's put up 20 points. Play action. Now it's Trainer. Foot race to the outside, and she's taken down inside the 5 to the 3.
Wow.
A slight hesitation maybe held her out of the end zone.
1,000%. I mean, for a moment there, you thought she could score, and great closing speed there by the Texas Elite Spartan secondary. And big hit, too, the finish. They arrived violently. And that's a really great hit there by number 12, Crystal Daniels.
And Daniels wasted no time with the physicality. Inside the final 40 seconds. All cosmetic from this point forward. Pride on the line for the Rebellion. They hand it off, 4th down and goal. It's a defensive stop. How fitting for the Spartans. They've dominated as the top defense in the WNFC all year long. And their title celebration can officially begin thanks to a goal line stop.
Absolutely, and they went gap scheme here at the goal line. I thought the defensive end did a great job getting in the hip pocket of the puller. And that's what you teach the linemen to do, and she was able to run that play down from behind.
And even with the turnover inside the 1-yard line, they are unable to score and add a little bit to the scoreboard. You can see the excitement starting to grow from the Spartans on their sideline. They won their first 9 Cup back in 2019 against Utah, 19-14. They defeated the San Diego team back in 2021, 27-6. They defeated Utah again in 2022. Mississippi was the victim in 2023, and then they finally fell. 2024 was their first loss in the 9 Cup, 13-6. But now, just one snap away from back-to-back. And a little chirping on the line of scrimmage.
And
talk about the Rebellion. They don't want to quit fighting, and I like it.
To the end. But, I mean, you look at the Texas Elite Spartans, this is truly one of the great dynasties now in sports. I mean, to win back-to-back championship, it's so hard to do. I don't think people understand how hard it is to win championship after championship.
Clock ticks down. It finally hits triple zeros. The Spartans stay on top. It's back-to-back for the Texas Elite Spartans inside Ford Center, champions of the WNFC for the 6th time.